The squawk and chirp of migratory birds throughout the Sydney wilderness is a sound that is becoming seldom heard. It appears our feathered friends are diminishing in numbers, and evidence proves we only have ourselves to blame. Phil Straw, Vice Chairman of the Australasian Wader Studies Group, a subgroup of Birds Australia, is using World Migratory Bird Day on May 14 to draw attention to the fact that the bird's eye perspective is grim, with infrastructure taking the place of wetlands.
The thing is, Australia, we've got a lot of land, we can squander it. Well, it's not true. And people talk about the work I'm doing about impacting on natural wetlands. I said there's no such thing. We've modified them all.
Kathy Merchant, Secretary for Ryde Flora and Fauna Preservation Society, reveals the effects of humans on the bird populations.
If you look up and down the Sydney Harbour, you just see so many of the bays that have been filled for playing fields were mentioned today, but I think we also, the way we managed our garbage in the past, a lot of the bays around this local area were used for landfill.
Not only are the changes occurring in the Sydney city, but Bev de Brincat, founder of the International Habitat Network, reveals our own backyards are threatening the bird populations.
We were losing our small native birds, like our little fairy wrens, our firetails, the silver eyes and that sort of thing. Back in the old days we used to see them in our gardens. We used to have nice big gardens, rich gardens, jungles down the back almost, where it was exciting for kids to play. There was fruit, vegetables, there was the old shed with vines growing over it. So great habitat for little birds and little animals. But we're getting bigger houses, smaller blocks, neater gardens, nice lines of lily pillies, moraya, mondo grass, that sort of thing. And that's just really not good habitat for little birds. So we're just finding that we're not seeing those little birds in our gardens anymore.
It is in Port Botany where we can see the detrimental effects on bird populations, as from 1942 to 2011, up to 17,000 migratory birds have been forced away from this area due to increased human activity.
What's been lost is the north side of the bay. If you remember the picture I put up there of what the north side of Botany Bay looked like in 1942, all of that's gone. The Cooks River estuary, which used to be a very important feeding area, the Millstream estuary that comes out through the East Lakes area, was all important feeding area, and that's all now under dirt because it's the airport and such like.
Now, however, Phil reveals a recent turning point in Sydney's attitude as we aim for conservation and protection over industrialisation. He unveils an $8 million project which seeks to reverse the damage.
I'm involved in the Port Botany reclamation project at the moment, but we've actually created more habitat as an offset to that than there was there before.
However, this does not mean that migratory birds are safe. This is an issue which needs to be combated on a global scale, specifically in China and Korea, where the birds land to refuel.
We're reclaiming 400 square kilometres of installed mudflats. And they were a bit dismayed when we told them that, yes, we've made mistakes like this in the past and we're learning from that.
It is not only reclamation which is affecting the birds in China and Korea, as the locals are catching the birds, which later end up on their dinner tables. International organisations are attempting to stop this from occurring.
And the BirdLife International, which we are a part of, work with local populations of people protecting their environment, which is their future and their livelihood. And that's really where we need to work in a lot, is working with local people. For instance, the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, they work a lot with locals living on wetlands. Because it's not them that's the big problem, it's the people that who want to fill in the wetlands. We say, hang on a minute, a lot of people depend on these wetlands for their livelihood.
No, these treaties and the conventions or whatever they are, that certainly you would hope that the scientists and that will be able to communicate and hopefully come to guide the people who want to do the land development, and who won't make as many bad decisions. I'm sure we're always going to just learn from bad decisions, but hopefully we're going to learn and do things a bit better.
The optimism from bird enthusiasts is astounding, as Bev reveals that now is the time to act.
The more you get more people that start thinking about it, the more chance you've got. You can't just give up.
It is clear that only time will tell, as the fate of our feathered friends hangs in the balance.